was young in Chicago. I witnessed murder. And I remember being taken away from my parents and drugs, and there wasn't a time you didn't hear gunfire, you know.
Foster care is strange in that regard, that kids don't get to stay with their siblings usually.
I was destined to be a statistic. I was going to end up in jail or hurt.
And it's solely because before that, I mean, everywhere I was, I didn't want to be. It doesn't matter where I was at, it doesn't matter what I was doing. I didn't want to be there, and it's because I felt alone when I was there. I felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. I knew that I wasn't permanent, and I knew that my time there wasn't going to affect anything.
I was separated from all of my siblings. Each of us have been spread all over the state.
I look around and I think, these kids that we work with every day have nobody. They haven't got one person in their life that loves them and cares for them and wraps their arms around them.
A lady by the name of Ann Ogg and I got together for coffee, and she said that she was with the Junior League of Denver, and she and a couple of other Junior League members were looking for a project to get started in Arapahoe County relative to the welfare of children. And so this was a pressing need that occurred in Arapahoe County.
And we weren't very readily accepted. We had to prove ourselves.
Artie and I shared a chair. We shared a computer. We were both learning how to use computers back 30 years ago. And if we showed up on the same day, I had to sit on her lap. So we learned to job share for sure.
Early on, they just were frankly feeling their way and trying to help these young people have a better chance at the judicial system. And obviously, like anything else, it was a growing and learning process.
Just reached out. It was amazing the outpouring of volunteerism.
Flowered and blossomed and grew and became a critical part of the juvenile justice system in Arapahoe County. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job.
Just when the kids tried to figure out what is a CASA, like who is this lady, the first time I took them out for lunch, and they were just stunned that somebody would volunteer to do this and that I would be paying for them to eat, and they just said they thought I was crazy. But I think I've learned otherwise, and so have they.
When I needed something, there are so many resources, and I was just, I just felt at some point I was like, okay, my life is totally gonna change now. I wasn't even ready. It was a paradigm shift.
CASA is really important to me because I was separated from my siblings, and that was what my CASA worker did, was she made sure that we always got to see each other.
What I found so special is that they kept us all together. They would drive hours and hours and hours, just circle the state and pick us all up and get us into this spot. And it was so special that I had that lifeline, that they were that lifeline for me to stay connected with my family.
More than physically taking me from a place, they mentally took me from that place, and they would ask questions that weren't about foster care. They would ask questions that weren't about anything in particular. They were just there.
And I left to go take care of some extracurricular activities for him, and I showed up at A1 Boxing, and he showed up there, and I'm like, what are you doing here? He was like, I just need to clear my mind. And for me, it was really nice because I saw him make a positive choice. Instead of being out in the street and hanging out with his friends, he was going to really release some stress and do it in a positive way.
It's a contract from CASA, from the initial handshake or hug or smile is what I felt. It is a binding contract of, we're here for you.
I think that there's always more kids that can be helped. I think that it's starting to become a household name, that an organization that people really know, and I love it when people ask me questions and they want to get to know more about what the organization does or how they can help and how you can facilitate building CASA's reputation in the community. And I think that there are only bigger and better things in the future.
Every time I go to court, it's always backed up, so you're always waiting, and sitting in other cases, and there are so many cases that while I'm sitting and waiting for mine, I hear case after case that doesn't have a CASA because we just don't have enough volunteers. And while the program has grown and it's doing fabulous things,
I think that we're sitting here today suggests that we've left a legacy, and that it was a wonderful opportunity 30 years ago to kickstart this program, and it's just wonderful to know that it's still just thriving far more than we ever dreamed it could 30 years ago.